In the case of Piers Morgan, I think it's important to point out something that may not be well known. So what I have here is a list that was compiled by Benjamin Netanyahu and his political office. What you also have here specifically is names with Netanyahu's writing. Now, this was published by Y.net and the Israeli newspaper, one of the well-known newspapers. And here you have names of individuals that were considered by Netanyahu's political office to be funders of his campaign. Now, one name here, there's many names and we can go through them in different ways and the significance they have in this country. But one name here who I think everybody should be interested in is Rupert Murdoch. And he's given the designation of 2. Now, Rupert Murdoch, of course, is an oligarch that controls much of the British media, owns The Sun, owns The Times, owns Sky News, and others. Murdoch historically has funded something called the Jerusalem Foundation, which builds illegal settlements in Sheikh Jarrah and Silwan. In addition to that, Rupert Murdoch also had a subsidiary called the NDS Group, which was run by former Israeli intelligence and military personnel, which was accused of hacking the communications of its opposition at the time, other media companies. Now, Rupert Murdoch is also, importantly, the owner and the founder of TalkTV, meaning that TalkTV, which has the cartoonishly evil James Whale and his sidekick, also employed Piers Morgan for a period of time. And the time when I went on the channel, the show was on TalkTV, owned by Rupert Murdoch, who is on a list here from Netanyahu's political office, considered to be a funder of Benjamin Netanyahu. In the case of Piers Morgan, more widely, he has appeared at events for a charity in this country called the Norwood Charity, which is headed by Jonathan Mendelsohn, who's the former head of the Labour Friends of Israel, and also headed by Trevor Chin, who's a very key Israel lobbyist, funded Starmer. He's on the executive board of BICOM, which is Israel's largest lobby group in this country, which has a daughter organization, We Believe in Israel, that attempted to remove my music from Spotify. In addition to that, on the 22nd of October of 2023, Piers Morgan met for a sushi meal in New York in the midst of his coverage of the genocide in Gaza with Nicola Mendelsohn and Catherine Jenkins. He's pictured at the table in the sushi restaurant with them. Nicola Mendelsohn is the wife of Jonathan Mendelsohn. She's also lobbied for Israel at Facebook, where she's the head of global advertising. Just so we're clear, during this period of the genocide of Gaza, adverts have been allowed on Facebook calling for a Holocaust against Palestinians. Wow. Adverts have been allowed encouraging Palestinians to leave Palestine and go to Jordan. So the head of global advertising at Facebook, Nicola Mendelsohn, has also met with Shimon Peres, has also participated in Israeli government-supported events. In addition to that, Catherine Jenkins, who Piers Morgan was sitting next to and smiling, has fundraised for the JNF, which is Israel's largest settlement-building body in occupied Palestine. So from my perspective, I view it as there being too many conflicts of interest here. You were employed, and at the time you interviewed me, you were employed by a channel that is owned by someone who seems to be a funder of Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah. That's a conflict of interest. in addition to that, he would have filling in for him sometimes. And I was invited on when someone was filling in for him by the name of Douglas Murray. Douglas Murray has a clear historical relationship with the Israel lobby through the Henry Jackson Society. Yeah. He was executive director of the Henry Jackson Society, the founder of the Henry Jackson Society. Alan Mendoza is listed as a director and a president of the JNF, which again is the largest settlement building body in Palestine. There's been a clear revolving door between the Henry Jackson Society and the Israeli military. And on top of that, Douglas Murray was then given an award by Isaac Herzog, the Israeli president, for his services to Israel in the media. Would that include the time that he was filling in for Piers Morgan on his show? Serious questions that have to be asked about this incestuous relationship.
Are you aware if, because Piers Morgan left TalkTV, are you aware if he's still connected to Rupert Murdoch?
I do not know the current arrangement, and I do wonder about the reason for the exit. So perhaps that's something more to investigate. But he was employed by Rupert Murdoch for many decades, at different news outlets.